This episode is sponsored by Nerdgeese. Support our show using code GamingSanity for a 10% discount.
Okay, the Skywatch is just on the other side of the steps. And it's surrounded by Fallen. Well, I'm ready if you are.
And that's what she said. Well, we are back, people. We are back, and what a better way to return than with our E3 overview. So, Matthew, we have returned. What did you think of E3? It was quite special, wasn't it, this year?
Large improvements compared to last year, which was an absolute shambles. So anything better was going to improve it anyway. But
yeah, well, as they say, the only way is up.
Yeah, no.
So let's begin, shall we? Shall we begin with Microsoft? Now, obviously, last year's conference was absolutely terrible. It was TV. I think that's all I remember from last year, wasn't it? It was TV, as far as I recall. Oh yes, and something that will register what you say to it, which nobody's particularly interested in. So this year, Phil Spencer has taken over, which is good. He is a gamer. We do appreciate that. And this year they came out firing with pushing the games. So they began as usual with the new Call of Duty. What do we think of that, Matthew? I mean, obviously it did look a bit like Killzone, Shadowfall. It did look a bit like Crysis. It did look a bit like a lot of games, but at least the graphics were better.
Yeah, with Call of Duty, it's just like whether they do something good or not. I played Ghosts last time around, and I gave it a chance, and it's just the series is turning into a mangled mess. I'm at this point where I just don't even want to pay attention to it because it is just 250 games mangled into one. But
yeah, I mean the strange thing for me is I think Call of Duty sort of had its own identity to begin with, but I think as time's sort of gone on and it's tried to feed in from the other games, it's sort of lost whatever identity it originally had.
It took over. It jumped straight over Medal of Honor as Medal of Honor started focusing more on its multiplayer. Call of Duty took over with a decent storyline and a good multiplayer. And I was like, yeah. I know you can't stay at World War II shooters, but at the same time, we got up to Modern Warfare, and Modern Warfare was...
Which was fantastic.
The actual series just stagnated as it went, which is fair enough for why we don't have to see it anymore. I mean, number 1 was brilliant, number 2 was okay, and number 3 was just a crock of shit, to be honest.
It was Michael Bay done up Call of Duty up the backside.
Yeah, and it's the horrible graphics. The graphics felt worse than the previous games. Meanwhile, was it Treyarch were doing Black Ops? They did World at War, and World at War was brilliant. It's probably one of my favourite Call of Duty games.
Oh yeah, we had a right laugh on that, didn't we, in co-op? It was some excellent work. Some good flamethrower.
Well, it's got one of the best. It's got one of the best soundtracks to it, and the ending to it is brilliant as Russian troops move into Germany, and they just set up brilliant atmosphere. And after that, it just went very downhill. I mean, Black Ops had a decent storyline, but at the same time, it started feeling cartoony. Each game you're now starting to think, is this going to turn into a more die-hard thing? They just completely lost touch with reality and just descended. So...
Now, the one thing they've done, isn't it, really? They've sort of Titanfalled it now, haven't they? And you can get in this suit and traverse the environments very quickly. Now, I know a lot of people will say, they've just ripped off Titanfall, but obviously this game's been in development for probably about 3 or 4 years, and we don't know how much they've known about Titanfall. So we'll have to give them the benefit of the doubt there.
But you look at Ghosts, and that was a blatant rip-off of Ghost Recon. Which is quite a shame. So this is pretty much, we saw a future soldier.
let's get a bit of that going. So second of all, we now get Forza Horizon 2, which I have to say, 1080p, uses the same engine as the old Forza 5. I have to say it looked quite impressive.
Oh yeah, it's the good thing about racing games. It's just that they can focus a lot more on graphics, and Forza has just gotten so close to. Sometimes you look at it and you just can't believe it. So.
Well, they do have this nice social feature as well, where you can create your own club with up to 1,000 members in there, which is quite good. And you can all compete for the best club and so forth, which adds a nice social aspect to it.
The problem with me about it is it's just like it's good to have a crew so you can get hold of people that will actually have stats. Because I mean, as you know, one of my favourites was Need for Speed: The Run, and there's only a few of us actually played through on it. And like Most Wanted, there was a few of us that played through. So there's not really much competition going, kind of thing.
Well, you're going to be loving the crew when it comes out in November on the PS4.
Yeah, no.
We can do the Cannonball Run, buddy.
It'd just be good to see.
2 hours, coast to coast.
It'd just be good to see more competition.
I don't like
between
driving
people.
games, and I'm going to buy it. Yeah, some excellent work, dude. It basically sounds like the crew. But yeah, you need to get that with me, because I want to do the Cannonball Run. It's going to be epic. And it is.
Yeah. No, I actually.
And I don't like driving games apart from golf.
Yeah, I mean, I know. It's hard enough for you to sit down and actually try and play some of these games. But, yeah, it's just that Cannonball Run style of game that I really like, as long as there's like a large journey to it. Because I used to get sick to death with next track, let's go to the next track. You come first on this one, let's go to the next one. It's like, that was the thing I liked about the run, is you just had to slowly make your way up the lead. So, but yeah, no, the crew's looking good.
That's looking exceptional. So now we move on to another game that we were quite surprised about last year, which was Assassin's Creed 4, which we both thought was going to be rubbish. But this year we've got Assassin's Creed Unity, set in the French Revolution. We now have interactive co-op. And I have to say, from looking at the game, my God, how many people are on screen at once, wandering around? Is Assassin's Creed going to finally fulfill its potential of social stealth, as they always said when they first knocked it out with Jade Raymond, looking quite hot as she did, telling us about Assassin's Creed? I have to say, I thought it was fantastic. Amazing visuals, unbelievable implementation of the co-op, and it seems to be drop in and drop out if you want people to help you or not. Some controversy over the fact that you can't be a female character, but, it was the French Revolution, and we don't want people getting butchered and violated in horrific ways. What do you reckon, Matthew? Do you reckon this time we may live up to the potential?
I'd like to have hope. Now, it's.
We were surprised last year, though, weren't we? By the I have to say.
The thing.
You barracked me into getting that.
Yeah, well, the thing that sets me back is, we spent so many games in Europe, and I really like the shift over to America. I know we've kind of gone through America, 3 games now, but it just feels like there could have been something a bit more that they could have gotten out of it.
It's an interesting scenario, though.
We knew it was coming as well. It was a very obvious choice. And it's like, I absolutely like the idea of it. I like the graphics of it. The graphics are stunning. I
do like the fact as well that how many buildings you can go in as well. It's not just like, GTA 5 where there's a few buildings you can go in. You can pretty much go in everything.
Yeah, no, there's...
Which I was very surprised about. It feels like a proper next-gen game for once.
Yeah, no, it does, that way, it does look really good. The only gripe I've got with it is just, it takes us back to Europe, and it would have been nice to just head off to another section, just for, a bit of fresh air, because I still haven't had enough time between stuff like Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood and all that. But, it was really good. And,
I was very impressed with the animation and stuff as well. It looked amazingly slick.
I actually
It did look like a proper next-gen game, though. It did have that feel about it. And the fact that there were like hundreds of NPCs on screen as ones as well, finally social stealth may work, like they've always touted. It did look very good, I have to say. I was very impressed.
Now,
And the way the 4-player co-op combined, where you'd sort of have one guy walking down the corridor distracting the guards, and the other guy comes up, shoots some darts in the back of his head and stuff. It looked really slick, I have to say. Very slick.
yeah, no, well, I'm liking that they're keeping the combat system a bit the same. Like, it's not the way you play, it's the way that the AI are. They've always struggled over the years, kind of thing, to try and get that good balance. But the way they did it, where you've got your usual enemies, and then you got the higher ups that can counter properly, and then you got the heavies. That's the style I find okay. I can agree with. It's just that they've taken a while to really get used to that idea, and with like Assassin's Creed 3 and Black Flag, they really did a good cementing job on that. So it's good to see there's some familiar work
Kind
in
of becoming comfortable with their sort of remit, isn't it?
that, and they've got a parkour down and a parkour up.
Well, that was the beauty as well. How good was the parkour coming down the buildings now as well? Instead of just dropping off the side, you could actually go down doing some manoeuvres down the side. It just adds a bit more slickness, doesn't it, to it? Obviously, that was X amount more frames of animation that they needed to put in, and obviously we need the new consoles to be able to do that. But yeah, did look fantastic, I have to say. I was a bit sceptical, as you always know, with Assassin's Creed since number 3, which was terrible.
Well,
But yeah,
come on, you can't sit there and say it was
Very
as terrible
optimistic.
as you state it, because I mean, you still had fun on that one.
no, well, I had more fun in Assassin's
Away
Creed
from
3
the
actually
actual-
doing the side
Yeah.
missions and doing my own stuff. The main story was
Yeah.
rubbish. It was terrible.
That's the thing we can go on with. The main part was terrible. The actual game, the content in the game, wasn't actually as bad as you're saying.
And why didn't Connor just talk in his native language with subtitles all the time? He had to have this ridiculous accent. It was insane. It was an insult to American Indians. That's what it was.
But yeah,
So we moved on to Dragon Age Inquisition. Now I have to say I was quite impressed with this after the debacle that was Dragon Age 2. This is looking like they've got their feet back together. We've got the option of playing it in third person or from the top-down strategy view, and obviously the visuals were unbelievable. And they've clearly taken a trick out of Skyrim's book. What do you reckon, Matty Boy? What do you think? You excited? You up for another
it's
RPG?
good they're actually bringing the RPG back to an RPG game. Because Dragon Age 2, like, I didn't even touch it, because after I heard that they pretty much Mass Effect 2'd it,
It was worse than Mass Effect 2. It was terrible. It was Dynasty Warriors. That's
yeah,
what
like,
it was.
the first
Rubbish.
game, the first Dragon Age was brilliant.
First game
There
was
was just
fantastic.
plenty of choice in it. I just don't know what happened with the ideas of the second one. I mean, Mass Effect.
They just lost the plot.
Yeah, I
didn't
mean,
they,
Mass
really?
Effect
That's
2,
what
I
it
was
is.
unhappy because they did what they did to it. And the same with Mass Effect 3. They completely watered down anything that's going to be an RPG to it. What made the first game bloody great, as they did the same with Dragon Age. It was such a shame. So it's actually good to see that they brought it back to a good section, so to speak. I like RPG with my RPGs.
It's looking a big improvement, I have to say. I'm very excited, I have to say. I'm very excited for Dragon Age.
Oh yeah.
I love that game, especially the first one. I mean, the choices. I mean, there was one particular choice in the first one where I lopped off one of the guy's heads. Fantastic, and that's what happens when you kill me, man. Unbelievable. Some excellent work. So now we move on to Microsoft's big exclusive for before Christmas, Sunset Overdrive.
The building with the radar.
Now, it was an amusing trailer. It started off with sort of the po-faced Call of Duty guy running around in a warehouse, getting destroyed by various people, and then, boom, the wall is blown open, and we have the guy from Sunset Overdrive going, "Hey, dude, what are you doing hiding behind there?" Now, I have to say, I thought the visuals looked good. It ran nice, but my only concern is, it looks a bit like Infamous, but with guns. If that makes sense.
I get your thing.
With the parkour traversing and, I don't know. It just reminded me of Infamous.
The thing I don't
think?
like is the bloody grinding on it.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's just like Infamous, but without the powers and a gun in your hand.
I'm sorry, but I just can't. You just completely break yourself out of that world when you're grinding along power lines, and it's just like, I just don't get it. It's like, okay, jump and do whatever you like kind of thing. But yeah, it's like Infamous met Crackdown.
I mean, I do enjoy the fourth wall
Yeah.
breaking that they do, and I appreciate what they're trying to do with it, and it is something different. But I don't know, it just looks like. Do you remember the Tango adverts with that fat sumo dude who just like slap people out of nowhere? I don't know, it just seems like it's that
I
kind
barely
of humour
barely
for no
remember
reason.
it.
Does that make sense?
Because I've been out in Australia for about 9 years now. We don't know
just
this
imagine
thing
you
called
wandering around
Tango.
with some fat sumo dude who's dressed in
Yeah.
orange just slaps you out of nowhere, and they put
I
it in
do
slow
actually
motion.
remember it,
It was really bizarre.
but yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It looked fun, but it wasn't something that screamed to me, "You've got to buy this system to play this." You know. You know
Oh
what I
yeah.
mean? And I think that's what they're banking on, kind of. Apart from obviously the later thing that we'll talk about.
I'm sorry,
in
but
a second.
Halo sells the Xbox.
Yeah. Well, and here we are now. So, the next big announcement was the Master Chief Collection. So we get Halo 1, 2, 3 and 4 all redone in 1080p 60 frames a second. Now apparently Halo 4 and Halo 3 have not had redone textures, it's just the same game redone.
Well, Halo 4 they
And
don't
Halo
have to.
2 gets Halo 2 gets an Xbox One
Yeah.
update, and Halo Anniversary is as it was. And obviously they have all the multiplayer as it used to be, and all the multiplayer maps. Now, if you're a Halo fan or you're somebody who loves online gaming, it's an amazing, amazing deal, isn't it? Fantastic.
It's
For me, who owns the games already, I don't know if I'd spend £350 getting an Xbox One just to play them all again.
it's good that there's going to be a catch up, because that's the thing. It's Halo's been going on it's 11th, 12th year now. God, I can't even remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
It's 13
yeah,
years.
it's like 13 years. You got to make that catch up, and
I appreciate they've brought
Yeah.
it all out, but if you what I'm trying to get at is, if you didn't know what Halo was, or is this something that would say to you, "Oh God, I need to get an Xbox One"? Is it that much? Because I think it's more for the fans.
I think,
if that makes sense.
to be honest, as it's been stated, Microsoft aren't really jumping between ships so quickly. They're catering for both sides. I mean, the 360's got to die off soon, but at the same time, they're trying to keep that good image going, so that people will, when they decide it's time to jump over, because Microsoft is presenting such a great support for them, then they can jump over nice and smoothly and still be able to play, and still be able to get hold of the Halo series anyway. My disappointment is, why just the 4 games? Maybe next year they might announce.
My personal favourite is Reach, as we all know. That's my personal favourite. I'd love to have seen Reach done in Xbox One graphics. That'd have been unbelievable.
Well, yeah, that's one good thing that they could have done. But I want to see ODST, Reach, and Halo Wars put in, or in a different pack for next year. Well, next year's Halo 5. But I want to see those games get pulled over and not forgotten, because ODS.
Well, I thought Reach was actually better than Halo 2.
Oh,
better than Halo 3. And possibly better than Halo 4 in terms of level consistency.
Halo.
Of how good all the levels were. I mean, Halo Reach, right? I wanted more of Halo Reach. I felt some of the levels on that weren't big enough. They should have been bigger. Because I was having that much fun playing
Well,
the
that's
game.
the thing.
Unbelievable
The
game.
maps on Halo Reach are a lot bigger than what you are showed to play. If you've noticed, like you actually go through and there's like multiple different pathways to take on, and there's different experiences.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is they're not like Halo 3 epic size. But I think some of Reach's levels should have been Halo 3 epic size.
Oh,
because it was that good.
there should be fights
it
with
was that
scarabs.
well designed. Halo Reach was the pinnacle, I think, of Bungie's map design at the time. They were just knocking it out of the park at that point. You'll see, by the way, in Destiny, which we will have exclusive footage of over the top of this awesomeness.
Yeah.
Fantastic game. Unbelievable.
No.
Okay, so we move on now from Halo, right? The Master Chief Collection. We like, but not entirely sure if it's a system seller.
It'll get those that are thinking about moving over and want to have some old games come over.
If I had an Xbox One, I'd buy it, right? But I wouldn't buy it if I don't have one, if that makes sense. If I had an Xbox One, I'd be well chuffed to have
And you
that
don't
at
even want to touch Microsoft with a barge pole, so...
Well, I have to, because I've got Windows. I have to
Go
deal with the devil.
Linux.
Well, yeah, well, we'll wait till Steam gets its Steam box going and its operating system, we'll see.
You got to wait for the summer
now,
sales
the next one
for
that really
Steam.
caught my eye was Dead Rising 3's add-on with its super hyper turbo crazy edition, which was basically Capcom ripping the piss out of themselves for making X amount of versions. And in Dead Rising 3, you can have 4-player dressed as Haga, Ryu, Cody, various other people from all their awesome games, and just go through the game trashing everything. I thought that looked fantastic. Good one for us guys from the 80s and stuff. Fantastic fan service. Brilliant. What do you reckon? Hilarious.
I just like we're going to the source of the problem. It's... I mean, I've been a good fan of the series for a fair few years. And, I mean, like, I've played the episode packs that were put on the marketplace. And the last one, it really just sets up, like, helps finally set up the next game. And it really is, it just takes you to the source of what actually happened, which is brilliant. So, and I mean, the graphics are brilliant for what it is, and they really just like putting in more madness. I mean,
I love the Japanese madness.
we look at Sunset Overdrive going, it's a bit balmy.
3, but I'll tell you this, I'd buy it just for that add-on. I would.
But like we look at Sunset Overdrive, it looks a bit balmy, and then you got that.
I can get it over.
Yeah, but it's not balmy in context, is it? That's the thing. It's like a weird energy drink advert, is Sunset Overdrive. And I know that's what the game's based on, some energy drink that sends everybody mental, but it just looks a bit weird. I don't know. And by the way, I play all sorts, Journey and all sorts of crazy stuff, so don't worry, people. Anyway, so we move on now to one of Microsoft's next big games. I mean, and this is Fable Legends. I mean, I really don't know what to make of this. So we got the demo, and it was 4-player co-op, going through a level with a 5th player as the villain, sort of putting the enemies out for people to fight. But is this it? Is this what the game is going to be? Because if this is it, then I'm not entirely sure how long this is going to last. And even in a multiplayer mode, I think you'd probably get bored of it in about 3 hours. It's kind of like Dungeon Keeper from the old PC. You know, you set out your dungeon and you get everybody to come in and try and attack you. I'm really not entirely sure about this. It seemed very generic and there was no customization in it.
I don't get it with Fable. They're trying to find like a different audience. I mean, they did that Connect game and it was just... I don't even want to go into it. So yeah, they had that one, and then they had another one which was all like puppets.
That side-scrolling beat up. Oh, that was terrible.
I do like the Fable series, but like Lionhead just don't know.
No, they've lost their mind with
Lionhead
it.
just don't know what they want to do with it. And to be honest, they can just start a whole new story. I mean, Christ, you look at it.
Why don't they just make like Skyrim or something in Fable with comedy?
rather than having emoticons that
Why not do
pop
that?
up over people's heads.
Yeah, why not do that and maybe have a bit of online interaction in like a city or somewhere you can talk
Well,
to
that's the
everybody.
thing. Fable 2 had that.
No, but I mean,
Oh, no, Fable
online
3 had
interaction.
that.
You know, like we could all meet up in a city somewhere and and fart at each other and have a good laugh.
There's a wizard here.
Was it Fable
see
3 had the
something floating in the
orbs
air?
going around
You
the city,
have
or
to
was it
kill it.
Fable 2? That was Fable 3.
Yeah, they were both of them. Yeah, they had the weird orbs
that
going
was
on.
a good idea for such a small, well, for a 360 game. Instead of having trying to get people on the game at the same time, that was a good way to create a counteract because you could still do all the trading and that. So it kind of breached on. I mean, if Lionhead really put their brains on that one, they could even come out with MMO, because the way they did it back on the 360, it worked. And yeah, it was a bunch of orbs, but if you actually make it player characters, you could do it.
Yeah, but you can't do MMO.
It's-
Stupid
yeah.
amounts of money.
I mean, like, if maybe
They
a
could meet up in the
32.
cities though. You could have like hubs
Yeah.
in the city where they could meet up and talk and stuff like that. That's definitely doable.
I mean, yeah, you got to look at Elder Scrolls Online. I mean, that's
tanking in it. That's tanking already. That's gonna be free to play in 6 months now.
hopefully. Yeah, I haven't touched
No,
it.
it will be.
I've got it. I played it through April. Yeah, I haven't touched it since the beginning of May.
That's why console versions have been delayed for a while because they're gonna have to see what happens.
Yeah.
Because it's dropping off now.
I mean,
Okay, so next, speaking of RPGs, The Witcher 3. Good God, that's all I'm gonna say.
I haven't been on Earth in
20% bigger than Skyrim,
That
ludicrous
wizard came from
graphics,
the moon.
and
centuries.
reactive
Thought we had
gameplay.
been there.
Amazing mature
The
storyline.
darkness could
Finishes the
be
Witcher
closer than
series.
we think.
Looks unbelievable, doesn't it? Let's be quite frank. Looks unbelievable.
The fallen will continue to claw at the walls of our
Unbelievable
city
game.
unless we strike them
I mean, I
down.
have to say, the Witcher series are fantastic.
Beneath the
books
ruins
are
of the
brilliant.
Cosmodrome, in
And
the
if they
shadow
can
of an
even
old colony
get
ship, we've
half of what
located the house
Skyrim
of
was
Devil's
with
Lair,
the levels of
and the
story
High
from The
Citadel,
Witcher, then good
feeding
God.
on their
I
strength.
mean, we're going to be in for something special.
We
and it's
must
out in
destroy
February.
this machine god.
So we're going to have to
Send
quickly
their
move
souls
through the next
screaming back to
exclusives.
the
We
devil.
have... Now, this was another good one that Microsoft showed. The Rise of the Tomb Raider. It's just a bit of CGI of Lara having psychological counselling after her antics in Tomb Raider. Now, you enjoyed Tomb Raider, didn't you, Matthew, as much as I did?
yeah, no,
Excellent game.
it's a good reboot, and I mean, it really did need it. I mean,
Oh yeah, give that series a good kick.
I mean,
up the
Legend
arse.
was good, but at the same time, it was just like it needs. Okay, yeah, it's still good, but at the same time, it really just needs to be brought back into the real world now. And
Absolutely.
yeah, from what we saw on the first game, which was the first rebooted version, I mean, they can just go up. They can get. I mean, they can just
Oh,
put
yeah.
in heaps more ideas as they go through.
It was a cracking
But
game.
then, when they get up to
It arguably out Uncharted.
well,
Because what I loved about Tomb Raider, the cover system, where you didn't have to press a button to just duck down behind cover. That was brilliant. Seamless. That must have taken a lot of programming to even think
I
about
mean,
doing that.
getting it in as seamless as it did it, it's brilliant, and I can't wait to see more. My only query is if we get to such a point that we go under the whole conspiracy thing again. I can't remember the names of those ones, but it just turned into a weird...
I mean, the Angel of Darkness
Yes.
and all the other madness.
Yes, yeah, it
rubbish.
just turned into a conspiracy, and I hope they don't do the same thing again.
No, I don't think they will do.
But yeah,
Don't think they will.
um,
We move on to two of the big announcements that we had. Okay, number one was Scalebound by Platinum Games for the Xbox One. Now, we didn't see much, just a trailer of some crazy dude with his crazy headphones on with a dragon fighting ultimate crazy beasts. But it's Platinum Games. Should be good. And Ken Lorbe appeared, rebooting a new franchise, which was Phantom Dust. Now, I don't know about you, but I think I was probably one of the only people in the UK who even played Phantom Dust. Sort of semi-RPG with sidekicks and card role-playing. I mean, I have to say it's a bold move by them bringing that out, but I'm sure you, like anybody else, has never even heard of it.
I was about to say, what's Phantom Dust?
Exactly. But then they finished, ultimately, with Crackdown, which is a reboot, which appears to be a reboot of the first game. So, overall, I think Microsoft is probably a 7.5.
I mean, I'm actually looking forward to seeing what they can do with Crackdown. I've just...
Well, yeah, but, that's not a way to end your show, is it?
Crackdown.
Come on. They should have at least shown Halo 5.
Nah, after they got past to be honest with Halo, you don't want to really be advertising something too far. Mind you, they shouldn't have been advertising Halo.
Well, it's out next year. Just they
I
do.
was to say, leave it more to the early start of next year.
Well, they've got the beta, haven't they, in December?
Yeah.
Play that.
Or financial year. I mean, if they start promoting it next year's E3 big time, kind of thing, it's good to keep it quiet because they've got one product in the works and they want people to focus on that. But I mean, next year they are just going to go nuts with Halo 5 and they will flog it.
Let's be honest, a bit light on games for this year in terms of exclusives. And we will also see a trend with Sony. With that
Well,
as well.
Sony...
So moving along to Sony's press conference now. They opened with Destiny, and as you can see by what you're watching now, a fantastic game. Unbelievable. And they've got an exclusive deal where the PS4 and PS3 get exclusive content until fall of 2015,
Let's hope we can avoid the
which is
crossfire.
some excellent work. I must say, I'm very impressed with Destiny. It feels so good to play. It feels so cool to do everything. It looks amazing. It's Bungie. You just know it is. It's very hard to describe. I mean, even watching this footage, as good as it looks, it's extremely hard to describe how good it is to play. But it just feels right, if that makes sense. It's like Halo crossed with Call of Duty, and I mean Call of Duty in the terms of how responsive everything moves around. Crossed with Borderlands in terms of sort of the play area, and crossed with an MMO, and that's the best way I can describe it. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. No, obviously, Matthew, you've not seen it yet.
I've seen some footage come out,
you'll be able to,
but yeah.
You will be able to enjoy the footage. And by the way, if we've got some time at the end, we can have a Q&A about the Destiny. So, Sony's first main sort of first party thing they showed off was the Order 1886. Now, I have to say, I was very impressed with this. I've been a bit sort of wary of this. But it kind of reminds me when Gears of War came out on the Xbox 360 back in 2006. Nobody'd seen too much of it. It looked amazing graphics, and everybody sort of said, "Oh yes, but does it play well?" Blah blah blah. And then the game dropped, and everybody was like, "Yeah, this is unbelievable." It's been delayed till February, which is a good sign because it means that people are going to concentrate on actually getting it right. What do you reckon, Matty? Is it going to deliver?
Maybe. I'm just...
That's sitting on the fence.
I can't really go far from it, kind of thing. It's...
Well, we've only seen what we've seen.
Exactly.
History would be that. That's why I bring the sort of Gears of War reference up.
The way out of here is sealed.
This is what everybody said about Gears of War at the time, and look how that turned out to be.
Yeah, no, I mean...
It turned out to be epic.
I mean, it still can go both ways, and... I mean, Gears of War was epic for you, but for me, I'm not...
Complex.
I never really got into it. But at the same time, I mean, you just can't really tell completely at this point. I mean, no...
Gears of War in 2006 was unbelievable. It showed what the next gen was going to be at that time. And I think that's what the Order 1886 brings. It's something the likes of which I don't even think I've seen on my PC in terms of how the game looks and how the camera moves and everything. It's like watching a film. It's nuts. It's completely nuts. It's very impressive.
Well, we can only wait and see. But once it comes out, it'll just be good to get hold of straight away and give it a good smash.
I do like the pseudo-Victorian story and all the sort of weird dark London stuff as well. Gives it a bit of character.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that comes through my mind is a bit more like how Dishonored went, where we looked at it.
What a game that was.
Yeah, like Dishonored was a really good game, and the way it was going looked like it was going to be a massive hit. At the same time, it was one of those games where as soon as you played it, that was it. I mean, I don't think many people have actually looked back at it, and not even many people remember it, surprisingly.
Fantastic! I love that game. It's the stealth mechanics on that, but like, bang
Yeah,
on.
like, it was really good. But, like...
The story was a bit crap though, wasn't it? That was the problem with it. You had this amazing setting done by Victor Antonov, who did the Half-Life 2 graphics and set the world up, and yeah, the story's a bit lacking, I have to say.
Yeah, no, it just came off... Like, the story just came off Bioshock-esque, but at the same time, I mean, Dishonored was better than the new Thief, so...
Oh, good lord, yeah. Well, yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, the irony was that everybody who made Thief on the PC made Dishonored. Serious irony. Serious irony. Right then, so we move on to Little Big Planet 3. With its various new characters. Now, as you can tell, I'm not particularly impressed with this. I have to say, though, this would be great for the kids and family.
I'll work faster.
But unfortunately, we have Oddsock, who is the dog. We have the new fat character called Toggle, who can shrink and become really fat. And we have Swoop, the flying bird thing, and obviously all the puzzles that the demo showed were tailored to 4 players doing various things, and Sackboy's got his little hair dryer that he can move things around with. Now, my only concern is, if this is how the game's set up, if you're playing this in single player, you're going to need to constantly rotate between all these characters. Is it just specifically a family game?
Who the fuck is still
I
playing
don't
these
know.
games?
Now, the one thing I will say that's really good about it, though, and this is kudos, right, is all the levels that everybody's made, so Little Big Planet 1 and 2 will be available in Little Big Planet 3 and upscaled to the graphics of Little Big Planet 3, which I thought was a nice little touch and just showed, you know, thinking about the families. Anyway, moving along from that irrelevance.
I was just going to say, with Little Big Planet, it's just like, I've played it in the past, but at the same time, it's hard to believe that they're still going.
Well, yeah, because it's user created. It's like Minecraft, isn't it, for platforms?
Oh, you look at Minecraft, that's
what everybody
plateaued.
loves.
They're starting to go quiet.
Yeah, but it's plateaued at what, like 20 million people playing this.
But yeah, it's the same with Little Big Planet. It's like, yeah, I really liked it. I liked it.
Dude, it's continuing. It's continuing. Everybody loves it. And just remember, if you've got kids, it's brilliant to sit there and play at Christmas. Now, moving into the big exclusive that I was exceptionally pleased about. Hideki Miyazaki's Bloodborne. From Software, Demon Souls, Dark Souls, set in some crazy Gothic city inspired, it looked like Edinburgh, and various Victorian, crazy cities. The mood, the atmosphere, you can tell, it's all there. It's going to be epic. Going around with a scythe and a shotgun. What more do you want? I know it's going to be exceptionally difficult, but what a fantastic coup for Sony
you
getting
know,
that.
there's
And I loved it as well that
fallen
Yoshida
empire on
announced
the
that
way.
himself as well. He was proud to have that game on. He loved it. No, you're not a particular fan, are you? That's why I think that's what it is, but
I've just been meaning to
Now,
try and get around to
moving
playing
along.
it.
Far Cry 4 looked exceptional, didn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I went...
Elephants with explosions, running things over, it just looks unbelievable. And as well, Sony's little things that they got in that nobody really noticed. Yes, if your friend has the disc and you can play co-op with him. I mean, what a coup that is. That's a nice little bit of work,
Yeah,
isn't it?
I'm actually liking the look of it. I mean, the actual trailer for it was brilliant.
Yeah, looks exceptional.
Because you get... I don't know. Can we claim it as a spoiler on a trailer? You get to the end...
No, it's crap.
Huh?
No,
You get to the end
spoiler.
of the trailer with what's meant to be the big enemy of the game. You know, takes that selfie and it's the... I remember his name. Dickhead from Far Cry 3, I think. Well, it looks like him anyway.
What's
No.
that? No,
No, it's not.
No,
It looks
no, it's
very
not him.
similar to him.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No. They've released the shots of who we are with some sort of better dude.
Okay.
No, it's not him. It's not that.
Yeah,
easy.
no, I was just wondering about the image, like at the end of the video, because he looks a lot like, well, yeah, thingy. So.
They cleared that up, don't worry.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that was a bit of a confusing.
But yeah, it does look fantastic. Now we're going to move on. So, next PS4 exclusive, Grim Fandango. Ultimately unbelievable for all you people out there who love Tim Schafer's games and love point-and-click adventures. Grim Fandango is the absolute pinnacle.
That's a
of all
name
of
that not many people remember these days. So.
And it's coming out on the Vita as well, Mighty Boy, as well. Really loving that. You can get it on all things. Devolver Digital as well, the indie studio who produced Hotline Miami, have announced that they've got an exclusivity deal with Sony as well for the first however many months. We're going to get Broforce, Not Just a Hero, Hotline Miami 2, completely this level editor. But way beyond all the other consoles, so that's a nice little bonus. Suda51's new game, which is going to be free to play, called Let It Die. It's going to be an exclusive on the PS4. Now, this was one that really got me. Two of the guys who made Journey, who are in Giant Squid Studios, are making a new game called Abzu, which is sort of set underwater. You're like this diver. It had the amazing atmosphere of Journey, fantastic water effect. The whole look, it just looks fantastic. I have to say, very excited. And then we moved into No Man's Sky, which is a procedurally generated space game where you just go around exploring. If anybody hasn't seen No Man's Sky, just go look at it. It's your wildest dreams come true. You can fly from space straight down to the planet's surface, land, and then go back up again. All seamless. Made by a team in Great Britain, whose studios were
Barrier is
flooded early
down.
in the year.
We can move now.
Now, I know you've seen that, Matthew, haven't you? And you were quite excited
I
about
would
that,
say,
Matt.
wear some sunglasses. There's a lot of
Yes, it
yeah,
was
the
quite bright.
contrast has just been like it really makes the whole game feel alien because of the way the colours are made into it.
It is amazing, isn't it?
My only concern is it probably could kick off my simulation sickness once again, just from that level of contrast, and it just reminds me back to Far Cry 1 where that level of brightness is just, I mean, that used to cause migraines as it does to a fair few,
It was a bit nuts.
but it looks fantastic.
It does look amazing, doesn't it?
And it's
It's a journey of discovery. That's what I
There's-
love about it. It's discovering
there's
new
not
things.
many bleak games this year. Like, if you look at it, there's a
No.
lot of colour coming out.
Yeah, yeah.
That's just like,
Yeah, it's the non-grey
Layers up
year.
ahead.
yeah,
Under
we've
that
discovered
column ship,
this thing
just on
called
the other side of
turning
all those
grayscale off and finding an entirely different world.
That's it. Yeah,
Because
exactly.
the last few years, you feel like you've turned colourblind.
Well, yeah, it has been a bit drab. Let's be quite frank. Now we move on. So Metal Gear 5 was shown. I mean, that just looks unbelievable. To be quite frank, I didn't know what was going on in the trailer. I'm sure somebody could write in and tell us exactly what was happening. But it was all in-game footage. Looked unbelievable and fantastic. Now, and here we are. We started to get just at the end now. Sony pulled out the old reveal of GTA 5 on the PS4. Obviously, it's coming to Xbox One and PC as well. But how amazing did that look? And we are all fans here of GTA 5, and I'm quite happy to go finish it again. I don't mind. It's going to have exclusive content as well for the Sony PlayStation. We've not been revealed what that is going to be yet. What did you think, Mighty Boy? Volumes of traffic, amazing lighting, and the subtle in-shot of the car when Michael was driving, showing his rev counter going up and stuff, and him actually changing the radio station. Are we going to get an inside view?
Hopefully what we've actually seen in the trailer we'll actually get, because I know it is all in gen, like all in game engine graphics and that, but at the same time, I mean, stuff like that they can easily just implement in, but I hope they actually put it into the game.
Oh, we'll get that. Don't you worry. You've got to remember it's 10 times more powerful than we've got.
Oh yeah, I know. It's just I hope that everything that actually gets shown goes in, because I mean, as much as I love Rockstar, there
looks
are
phenomenal,
certain
doesn't
things
it?
that will get shown but never put in properly, kind of thing. And I know GTA 5 pushed the limits on the consoles. I mean, to the fact that it relied so much on the hard drive and disk writing at the same time.
Yeah, we'll think what we can do with these new bad boys. GTA 5 is going to get destroyed by these new consoles, buddy. Trust me. I'm a convert because I've got one. I know what it's capable of doing. It's up there with my PC. That's how good it is.
The only problem is, aren't you back at uni when GTA 5 re-releases?
Possibly.
Because that is a
I do have Destiny for 20 days before
that
I
is
go
the
back.
problem with.
Yeah, but I'll play at
Yeah.
Christmas, so don't worry.
Oh, it was. It's just like
Now, moving along into the graphics debate, Batman Arkham Knight was shown running fully. My god. Now, everybody said, oh, it was only going to be an intro. Well, it wasn't. The game is actually looking like that. And it looked unbelievable, didn't it? With the Batmobile and everything, and the full destructible scenery. Unbelievable.
they've had good time to develop it.
Unbelievably amazing. It did look unbelievable. And I have to say, very excited about that. Bit jaded with the last Batman. But this new Batman looks exceptional.
Well, I haven't played since
And it's proved.
Arkham City, so
Well, it's 5 times bigger than Arkham City. That's how big it is. And the Batmobile is apparently you can drive up the side of buildings. You can do all sorts with Batmobile. Apparently, the Batmobile is an integral part of the game now. While you're fighting, you can get like the Batmobile to do artillery shots at people while you're fighting. and stuff.
that's good.
Mm.
Yeah, no,
Sounds exceptional. And then, rounding off, we had Nintendo. Now they did have a rather amusing intro with the two CEOs facing off against each other and having almost sort of a Dragon Ball Z fight. Now they've announced this Amiibo figures thing, which is basically Skylanders with Nintendo figures that can go into various games. What do you think of this, Matty Boy? Do you think they're going to coin it in with this? Everybody loves Nintendo, don't they?
oh, in Japan will flog. I mean, at the moment they're having enough issues with a McDonald's toy line of Super Mario figures, so this is just gonna go through the roof over there and over large portions of America. Not too sure about Australia, but I mean the fans, it's a massive fan base out there, and collectibles just will definitely sell. I mean, out here, getting hold of merchandise out here, like, you can get any form of Nintendo merchandise that you really want. I mean, they literally will just sit in bins of EB games. Meanwhile, stuff like the Watch Dogs merch is just disappearing as quickly as possible, and that's not thanks to me anyway. It will sell really well, and it will absolutely thrash Disney Infinity. The way I see it, Disney Infinity's pretty much already had that bad stage. I can't see him expanding so far onto it. It's good for the kids, fair enough. But, I mean, if you can see Super Mario or Mr. Incredible, who are you going to go for? So, yeah, no.
Also, apparently, they're going to unlock various things in the various games, like Mario Kart. You'll get certain powers, or if you're getting smashed with it, you learn certain moves and take your figure onto your friends there, and import your character into your friends' sort of game.
Nintendo?
It sounds like a good idea.
This will be one of the things that'll help sell Nintendo. This actually looks like a generation that Nintendo will actually come out quite well.
Yeah, believe it or not, at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I actually looked back and it was something like 500 million they lost in the last quarter.
Oh yeah, they lost a
And
crap
it was,
ton of money.
I mean, after the whole Wii...
They've got a decent console, and it's got the best games at the moment. That's the crazy thing. It's just that everybody views it as underpowered. Well, it is underpowered compared to the two next-gen consoles, but it's still like 5 times more powerful than a PS3 or a 360.
Yeah, no, the problem I had with them is, like, you look how the Wii went. Okay, the DS I consider on a separate thing, and to be honest, I think the DS needs to actually be worked up a bit more, because
Well, the 3DS is the best-selling console of last year.
yeah, no, the
It's
thing
a
with
hell of a
the
console.
DS, I'd like to see a bit more of a change to it.
You've got to remember though, it's going up against tablets and iPhones. You didn't have this 5
That's
years
what I
ago.
mean. like the DS is still holding firm, but at the same time, it really looks like they could start getting caught behind before it's too late. Meanwhile, Nintendo have really focused a lot more on the Wii U compared to what the Wii was. And the Wii, we all had about 5 games, we played through them and then gave up.
Yeah.
You meant to get up and
Well, it
play
was
tennis.
underpowered
No, we all
for
sat
the
down and just
heavily
waggled
underpowered,
the
that was the problem.
hand to the side.
The problem.
Sometimes you even put a sock over
Now
the
moving
Wii.
it now, so we move into the new areas now. Speaking of the Wii underpowered and amazing games, they then showed the new Zelda. Well, good God, they've had this under wraps for 4 years. Amazing open world, free roaming Zelda, based off the original game that they want people to be able to go around. Had an amazing, serious anime style. Questions as to whether the actual main character shooting the bow and arrow is Link or not, we don't know yet. What did you think? Looked epic, didn't it?
Yeah.
It looked as good as anything on the next gen consoles, and bearing in mind obviously the Wii U is not as powerful as the Xbox One or PS4. But it looked amazing. Vibrant world, fantastic graphics.
I'm just going to say, if I did have spare cash and if there was more stuff to go around with the Wii U, I would definitely be getting it just for Zelda. It's effectively, it's like a massive, well done reboot. It's the Tomb Raider of this generation for Nintendo. So, that's the way I see it.
That's a controversial
Huh?
statement. But let's put that in context, people. He means it's a very good reboot, not it's the Tomb Raider. For all you internet morons out there who aren't listening properly.
Well, it is just, for me, it's just like, it's one of those games that over the years, I don't know how many Zelda fans are out there.
It's become a bit formulaic Zelda, where you go to Dungeon A, you go to Dungeon B. You've always got this perceived open world, but you sort of have to go through the motions. Don't you,
Yeah,
to
and
get
for me,
there.
Zelda got a bit stale.
They've Skyrim'd it up this time. They've Skyrim'd it up.
For me, Zelda got a bit stale, and it really needed that straight out, like brightened up reboot. And this one, it's going to work. I don't see how it's going to fail.
It can't.
Well,
You can't do. It's going to be unbelievable.
there's that point.
You can write this down right now.
0.1%.
10 out of 10 is what that game will get.
But yeah,
Yeah, it will do.
no, it's
It's one of the greatest games of all time.
that one's worth buying the console for. I'm gonna have to say that.
And so is Mario Kart 8, by the way, people. Now, I was also pleased to see that they've taken care of the hardcore gamers. Bayonetta 2 is coming out. Fantastic game. And I was also surprised to see that Bayonetta 1 is going to be included in the pack as well.
They've actually upset
Which is a fantastic idea.
the artist for that.
Redone for the Wii U in 60 frames a second. Fantastic. What do you reckon?
I never really got the chance to play Bayonetta 1, but from what I've seen, it's actually very good.
Very technical fighting game. Like Devil May Cry and a whole new level.
But yeah, no. From what I've seen, is they've upset the artist for the cover of Bayonetta. And to be honest, I've seen the original cover that was designed with the original poster. And to be honest, I don't know why the hell they even changed that cover over, because what they did was brilliant. But I mean, it's good to see Bayonetta's going somewhere, kind of thing.
I was very surprised. I was very surprised that Nintendo actually got
Yeah, that was.
It's very sort of not what I would expect about it, but it's kind of like the usual thing where they say, well, we're not going to make a mature game ourselves, but we'll let you guys do it, you know. But they always get a Japanese studio to do it, they never get a Western studio to do it, which is always good.
But it needs to be done. We need to put that variety out there, kind of thing. Because
Absolutely.
we can't all have cutesy characters, you know, for every time we get on the console. And,
exactly.
you know, there are people that just have that, you know, just have the Wii U, so you've got to create that option. I mean, we ain't going to see GTA on there for a long time, but still.
I don't think they ever will.
Oh, I think they pushed their
They
luck.
said that Chinatown was a fantastic game.
Yeah, it's
on
a
the DS.
fantastic game, but at the same time, they pushed their luck with Nintendo as well, because they weren't too happy about it. Like, they wanted it to be a bit more watered down at most points. So,
Well, you can't water down GTA. To
Yeah.
be honest. So what do you think of the new Mario Maker as well? That looks very good, doesn't it? You can make levels for Super Mario Bros. U type graphics or the old Mario. I think that's very
oh
interesting.
yeah, that would definitely go well. I mean, they Nintendo really have caught up.
It taps into that sort
That's
of,
a Little
that
Big
sort of
Planet.
Minecraft sort of thing that's going on in at the moment.
Yeah. But that's their Little Big Planet, that's their Minecraft kind of thing, and they have caught up very well with what the other generations, what other consoles are doing. And at the end of the day, it's their own software, so they get the profit. They get a massive profit out because it's their own stuff. I mean, Microsoft can't really do it because they don't have like weird legend stuff. I mean, if we look at Microsoft, we think Halo. To be honest, you can't have a world creator Halo, you know, massive games.
To think Blinks. Remember the hoovering cat?
Yes.
Think of that.
Actually, no. What you could have is like some weird shit version of Minecraft, and it's called. No, it's called Office Life, and what you do is you actually collect figurines of Microsoft Office avatars. So, say you get the paperclip, and using Connect, every time you go fuck this shit, it listens in, and it goes, would you like help with that? Actually,
Now we're going to have to quickly have a little bit of a roundup here. So let's not forget we had Xenoblade Chronicles X as well, one of the greatest RPGs of all time to bring in. Next, open world, fantastic. Not going to be out till next year, unfortunately. We also had Hyrule Warriors, which is basically Dynasty Warriors with Zelda, with exceptional graphics. Which we'll have to see how that goes. I mean, they do like mindless beat 'em ups, but I'm not entirely too sure about that.
it's a good branch away.
Yeah, I mean, but then we got my big prediction here. So the one I said was going to be, which we haven't seen yet, but there are photos to prove it. That Star Fox is happening. Thank God. Finally, Star Fox is going to happen. Now, how epic is that going to be? Finally, when it actually happens next year, it's going to be amazing. I mean, I can't believe it took them so long to even figure out that we all like shooting stuff, you know, and it's Star Fox. Brilliant.
Well, it's Nintendo, they are a bit...
Now, I'm sure you enjoyed Star Fox, didn't you? In your youth.
Yeah, no, it is Nintendo, they aren't used to this word shooting. This is a mystery word. It's, you know, they like dropping stuff and throwing stuff, but guns are not nice.
Yeah, but it is weird puppets shooting each other, so that's fine.
I guess so.
No, I have to say that I was very excited about the fact that Star Fox is coming out. Fantastic. Yeah, and it's a great game. I've still got Star Fox 64 3D on 3DS. Rattle that off in 45 minutes. Amazing 3D effects. Still a classic game. Unbelievable. Now I was very intrigued by this final game they showed, called Splatoon, which is a 4-on-4 multiplayer action game where you play a person with a squid and you shoot paint out your gun and you can turn into a squid and move around in it. And the object of the game is for your team to cover everywhere in paint. Now this could be taken in a very bizarre way if you get it. So let's just forget about that, people. Get it out of your mind.
Oh, it's in my mind.
And you can swim around in all this and move around. Yeah, you can swim. This is great.
I'm
You
on
can
the
swim around
subway
and move
train.
around in all this and all this paint, shall we say, and then you can sort of jump out and shoot people. And it looked really cool. And I have to say, it was a really cool idea. But it did seem a bit creepy as well.
Now I've got this in my head. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah. I actually wrote down at the time when I was watching it, the splattering seems a bit offensive and a bit nuts.
I'm thinking Bukaki.
That was me watching it live. Yeah, it does seem a bit weird. So yeah, so I'm not entirely sure what this new young sort of team of developers at Nintendo are coming up with. Let's just hope it's not too creepy.
No, that you know where they've been sitting. Let's try and find the least offensive way with Bukaki and Tinky. I'm sorry, it really is. Let's
What you
just...
say, Nintendo evolving Bukaki? What? By the way, oh good lord, really. Oh yes, and finally, I've just got to remind myself of this. So Itagaki-san, the guy who made Ninja Gaiden, turned up with The Devil's Third. Well, I have to say, I have never seen such a terrible game all my life. And I feel sorry for Nintendo that they've manipulated it. It is the worst third-person Ninja game of the trash I've ever seen. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. And I mean terrible. I mean, I've seen some bad games in my time in terms of third-person action and whatever. I mean, we've heard about Splatoon. But this was just on a whole
Yeah,
new level.
no, luckily I didn't get to see that footage.
Yeah, it was so cool. Well, I'll send you
No, please don't.
Anyway, everybody, it's been wonderful to be back and speak to you all. And we will see you next week with some further overlooked games. So it's goodbye from me.
That's goodbye from me.
Well, they sent the right team to handle this one.
Sepix Prime cast a great shadow over our city. With its destruction, the fallen devils will grow weaker. But we must stay vigilant. The fallen are crafty, and they'll find ways to survive. They always do.